So you know, right, we always have big time ratings with FOMC, particularly in the question and answer period. You watched yesterday, it's riveting stuff, especially for the first 10 minutes. And then sometimes it gets a little redundant. Like yesterday, these reporters were obviously very upset. The Fed actually did a hawkish pause, right? Powell says call it a pause, not a skip. But then we finally saw them pass the mic to my friend and colleague, Edward Lawrence, and he asked the most important question of the day, perhaps of our lifetime.
Thank you for taking the question, Mr. Chairman. Edward Lawrence with Fox Business. So I want to go back to comments you made about in the past about unsustainable fiscal path. The CBO projects the federal deficit to be $2.8 trillion in 10 years. The CBO also says that federal debt will be $52 trillion by 2033. At what point do you talk more firmly with lawmakers about fiscal responsibility? Because I'm assuming monetary policy cannot handle alone the inflation or keep that inflation in check with the higher level of spending.
I don't do that. That's really not my job. I will say, and many of my predecessors have said, that we're on an unsustainable fiscal path, and that needs to be addressed over time. But I think trying to get into that with lawmakers would be kind of inappropriate, given our independence and our need to stick to our knitting.
Is there any conversation then about the Federal Reserve financing some of that debt that we're seeing coming down the pike?
No, under no circumstances.
Whoa, not his job, but he acknowledges that we are on an unsustainable fiscal path. Folks, take a look at this chart. That is what unsustainable looks like. That's the path. That's what mortgaging the future of your kids and grandkids looks like. Rate hikes, they also make these interest payments extra expensive. In fact, take a look at this. That's the biggest part of future deficits, the interest on this thing. I think it's time for the independent Fed to show a little chutzpah and say out loud, in fact, stand on the soapbox, talk to these lawmakers, shout out them, and demand and let them know they are destroying the nation. Jay Powell, dump the preamble that you give us every single time there's a Fed meeting and you're there and you're yada, 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 and we know our policies impact Main Street. If you really want to come to the rescue, follow what Ed Lawrence said and speak up. We need you to do it right now.